Welcome to episode 4 of Creating a Legacy, this Football Manager 2017 series with West Ham United. It's the start of my 4th season in charge of the club, and this year is a big year because we have Champions League football. We finished 2nd last season, very close to upsetting everyone and winning the league. We were just 6 points behind Man United in the end, and it was very close up until the last couple of games of the season. We missed out, but we go again. Hopefully we can push on and challenge for the title again this season. The main aim this year for me personally is to try and win something, because we've been so close. We were so close to winning the FA Cup, the Europa League. We've been pretty close to winning the League Cup and also the League. If I can win at least something, even if it's just the League Cup, that would be fabulous and much deserved, I think, because I've done reasonably well so far on this save, I think, but we haven't quite managed to push over the line and win a competition yet. You can see the team here before you. There's a few new faces in there, but the team, I suppose, does look quite small. It's very compact. I want to have a reasonably compact team, because if you've got so many players, so many first team players who want first team football, then you have problems, don't you? I think you've probably encountered the problems on the last couple of football managers with players really wanting first team football, and you get mutinies where groups of players gang up on you. I don't want that, so I've decided to have quite a compact team. Champions League football isn't too much of a strain compared to Europa League. You don't quite have as many games, and we've qualified for the group stages anyway, so we don't have to go through the whole qualification process, which is a bit of a pain. We're automatically in the groups, which is great, so I don't think I need quite as big a team. The one worry, I think, is centre-backs, because we're playing 3 at the back. We're playing this tactic. We're going to go with the same tactic that did so well last season, with the wing-backs, with the 3 centre-backs, and we've only got one backup centre-back, and he's very young. It's Alex Thompson, an 18-year-old, who isn't good enough for the Premier League. He's definitely not good enough for the Premier League at this point. Apparently he's only good enough for League 2, but he does have the potential to be a Premier League player. I did sign another centre-back. He's called Tuna, which is brilliant. But once again, I've signed a player that cannot get a work permit, despite being a Turkish international. I don't know if it's because Brexit has occurred on the game and it's quite hard, and we're not able to get work permits for some of these players. Hopefully you'll be able to obtain one soon. He's gone on loan to Hertha Berlin, and if he continues to play for Turkey, then hopefully we'll be able to get a work permit, because he's a quality player. He's good enough to be in our first team. He's better than Reece Oxford. He's on a par with Winston Reid and Reece Burke. And he's only 18. He is considered to be a wonder kid, and I picked him up for £14 million. So I think that's a lot of money, but I think it's a bargain in the long run, considering how good he actually looks. The rest of the team, though, I do think I have sufficient cover. You'll notice I've signed a new goalkeeper. We'll go through transfers in a second, and another striker. But I have released and sold a few players as well, which is why the squad does look quite slim. The under-23s is very small these days. The under-18s is a much more sensible size. But we've released quite a few of those original youngsters that you get at the start of the game, that started with West Ham and just weren't good enough. So I've definitely streamlined the team. It does mean we've got plenty of money left on the wage budget. We're paying £1.5 million a week, which I think is less than it was at the end of last season. And we've still got £28 million to spend. So I still might spend some money before the end of the transfer window. It's currently the 6th of August, preparing for our first game of the season against Swansea. We've had a very good pre-season, unbeaten, nothing exceptional, no surprise victories in there really. We drew against Werder Bremen, we drew against Porto, all the other teams we probably should have beaten, but we did get a few draws in there. Callum Wilson had a very good pre-season, scoring lots of goals. Unfortunately, Borja was injured. If you remember, he got injured at the end of last season, so he's only just come back from injury. Managed to play Billericay Town and get a goal. And Charlie Austin's injured. Again, he gets injured so much. He's so injury prone. He's more injury prone than Andy Carroll, who I incidentally have sold. So let's look at the transfers then. You can see only 3 transfers once again, similar to last season when we only brought 3 players in pre-season. It's quantity. It's not quantity over quality. It's quality over quantity. That's for sure, because we've spent big this year, £60 million, and we haven't sold much really. £8.75 million. The first player to go out was actually Mikel Antonio. There was no point hanging on to him. He was unhappy about not being a first team player. I don't really want to play him right wing back because he's not brilliant there. He's a winger, isn't he, at the end of the day? And we don't play wingers in this tactic, so there's no point keeping him. It's just harsh on him to keep him. So I have sold him to Brighton and Hove Albion, who came up from the Championship last season. So he's going to be playing Premier League football, £5.5 million, not too bad. He's probably worth 20 million in real life, but because of me not playing him, his value went down. He has been capped a lot by Jamaica now, 39 caps, 10 goals in the 3 seasons that he has been playing for Jamaica. So good luck to him. Huntelaar's retired and left the club, so thank goodness for that, because he was only on 130 grand a week. Martin Samuelsson has left. He's ended up not finding a club yet, actually. Don't think he's ever going to develop into a Premier League quality player. He's 22 now, and he didn't really improve over the 3 seasons of this save. Josh Pask has gone. He's moved to Swindon. A few other players have left. Declan Rice, he wasn't going to be good enough either. Ogbonna is the most notable player to leave the club. He has moved to Genoa in Italy on a free. Now, you might be surprised at me releasing him, considering we're a little bit lacking at the back. But the thing is, he's a player that would want to be a first team player, and I really want to develop Reece Oxford into being our main defender alongside Winston Reid and Reece Burke this season. He signed a new contract, as has Reece Burke, by the way. He's now an English international, as is Reece Burke. They've both got 1 cap for England. And if he's to be a first team player, that means Ogbonna would have to be backup, and he wouldn't be happy being backup. And I don't want unhappy players causing problems at the team. So I thought the safest thing to do would be to release Ogbonna, get quite a big contract off the books, and move on from there. So Angelo Ogbonna was brilliant in the first 3 seasons of this save, but I've decided to let him go. Hopefully I don't regret that this season. Tony Martinez is also gone. I didn't think he'd be good enough, so he's left. Donnell Henry, Canadian centre-back, who I don't know why West Ham have hung on to him for so long, because he's okay, but he's certainly not good enough for the Premier League. So he's finally gone. His contract's run out. We've loaned out our 2 Argentinians who can't get work permits at the moment. Juan Cruz Gomez has gone back to our affiliate, where apparently it's a bit easier to pick up, I think probably EU national status or something, in Holland. So hopefully he goes and bangs in a few goals over there. They were relegated, by the way, so they are in the 2nd tier of Holland now. So hopefully they'll be towards the top and getting some good ratings. Fontana, who I've got really high hopes for, I think he can be a really, really good player one day. He's also gone on loan to our affiliate. Batala, I don't think he's ever going to be... Firstly, I don't know if he'll ever get a work permit, and secondly, I don't think he would actually be good enough to be our number 1 goalkeeper. But he's gone on loan back to Dynamo Zagreb. We'll get 100k a month for that deal. They're also paying his wages. I might just have to cash in and sell him. We spent £6.5 million in him. I don't think we're going to get that back. But we have already managed to get £2.2 million from Dynamo Zagreb in loan fees. So if we can maybe sell him for 4 million, then I guess we're break even on that. Tuna Guerin, like I said, he has gone on loan to Hertha Berlin. Domingos Quina, decided he's probably not going to be first choice. Well, he's definitely not going to be first choice. I might as well try and get him to prove himself out on loan. He's gone to Cardiff City, who are in League One now, but should be towards the top of League One. If he performs well, hopefully he'll improve as a player, because he hasn't really improved much yet. His passing has gone up from 10 to 14 during this save. I've focused on passing, so that there are some attributes that are improving, but he's not quite improving enough to be a first team player. He's only really good enough for League One at this stage. Andy Carroll has been sold. I decided to let him go. He was unhappy. Well, he wasn't unhappy. He just decided he came to me saying he wanted a new challenge. He's done everything he possibly can here. He is starting to get on a bit. He's 30 years old now. He's certainly not our best striker. Borgia is our best target man. Andy Carroll's better at heading, but that's about it. So I've decided to let him go. He's gone to Tenerife, of all places, for £1.7 million, which is just tiny amounts of money, I know, but that's the best I could do. Emmanuel Thompson, one of our young goalkeepers, has gone on loan to Doncaster Rovers. Hopefully he can impress there. And a couple of other youngsters have gone out on loan as well. Now, coming into the team, I was desperately looking for a top quality goalkeeper. Went for Donnarumma. Is that his name? The AC Milan guy. He's really young. We had £40 million accepted 3 times, but he refused to even discuss contract terms with me, so that was a no-go. I looked for some other players. I bid for, is it Rulli, the Argentinian? He wanted 200 grand a week. I think I had a £27 million bid accepted for him, but just way too much money. Lanzini is our highest earner, I think, or second highest earner. So I didn't want a goalkeeper to be our highest earner. So in the end, I've gone for Loris Karius from Liverpool, who is actually a very good goalkeeper. The same ability as someone like Rulli, but only wanted about 80k a week. Yeah, £80,000 a week on a 4-year contract. He's also relatively young. He's just turned 26, and he's actually really good on this game. He was Liverpool's first choice goalkeeper most of the time over the last 2 seasons. Did pretty well last year, actually. 29 goals conceded in the league, 6.93 average rating. He's actually not that dissimilar to Randolph, funnily enough, in terms of his attributes. They're both sort of all-round decent goalkeepers, but he's not exceptional at anything. Reflexes and one-on-ones are his best attributes as a goalkeeper. But he's good, and is certainly an improvement on Randolph, although Randolph is actually quite good on this game, so he's definitely a good understudy for Karius. And if Karius doesn't work out, I have no problem putting Randolph into the first team, because he's performed brilliantly in the first 3 seasons of this save. So Karius will be our number 1 goalkeeper for 12 million. I think that's a pretty good deal, considering he could play for 10 years for us if things go to plan. This is the big man, Gabrielle Barbosa, Football Manager legend. He's now 22 years old on this save, and I've signed him for £34 million from Inter. He's not really done a huge amount on this save so far. They've actually made a bit of profit on him. Hopefully he can shine in the Premier League, because he is a quality player. Now his natural position is inside forward, and we don't play wingers, as you know, but he's also pretty good as a complete forward. He's certainly got the attributes to be a complete forward. I'm training him up to be more natural in that position. He's already very good in that position, but he prefers to play on the right wing as an inside forward. So we're going to make him naturally a complete forward. He'll be our main man alongside Borja up front. Hopefully the South American duo can destroy Premier League teams. He did get injured a few weeks ago, so he's only just getting back to full fitness. So I don't know if he'll be ready for the first game against Swansea. If not, we'll just stick Callum Wilson in there. And the other guy to come in was Tuna. So we haven't signed many players, but I think adding a really good goalkeeper in Karius and a very good striker in Barbosa can make all the difference. I'm pretty pleased with the midfield area. Tielemans, Cullen, Obiang, Lanzini, Marcus Brown, Fernandes. Mark Noble's still here and still a good player. He is getting on a bit. He's 32, but he's still a good all-round central midfielder. Good deep-line playmaker option in there. But this is my preferred lineup, although Barbosa would replace Callum Wilson. Callum Wilson is a good player, though. Looking at him, he's not that dissimilar to Barbosa in a way, attribute-wise. But Barbosa is certainly someone that can play for many years for this club. Although I think he does have a release clause. 49.5 million. That was the only way to get him to sign. He wouldn't have signed a contract without that. He's the highest earner at the club on 110 grand a week. Lanzini signed a new deal, 105 grand a week. He deserves that, because he is our best, or he has been our best player over the last 3 seasons. So yeah, he definitely deserved that contract. I did tie up a few other deals, so there's not many players with only 1 year left. It's Randolph, Noble, Creswell, Brown, Charlie Austin and Alex Thompson. I have offered a new deal to Alex Thompson though, so hopefully he signs it. But we've got quite a few players. Masuaku has just signed a new contract, taking him until 2024. He's actually really good as our left wing back, so I'm happy with that. And then there's quite a few players with 4-year contracts. So the stability of the club is great. We're the 10th richest club on the game now. Huge amounts of money in the bank. The board are happy with me. It just seems very stable, and we should be going from strength to strength, and hopefully pushing for a league title this year, and hopefully doing well in the Champions League as well. If we just compare myself to other teams, you can see we've got a relatively young squad. Average age in the Premier League is 26, ours is 25. But if we compare, goalkeeper-wise, we're solid, aren't we? Everything's either average or above average. Defensively, there's a few weaknesses here. Positioning's very good, as is pace and acceleration. Some of the more technical attributes like tackling and heading, not so good, but that's probably being brought down by the fact we've got Alex Thompson in there. So that's bringing that average down. Midfield-wise, pretty good. Tackling's quite low, but everything else is very good. Passing is the third best in the league, and that really helps because we're playing quite a short possession football. That's what we did last year, and it worked very well. Attack-wise, we're strong, apart from long shots and off the ball slightly below average, but things like anticipation and finishing are pretty high. So I'm pleased overall with the strength of the team, and I think we can put in a pretty good performance this year. We're predicted to finish 8th, but I'm sure we can finish above that, even with Europe. Like I did struggle in that second season with European football, and then without Europe, of course, we finished 2nd last year. But I'm feeling positive. We might make a few more signings. We'll see. Maybe the squad isn't big enough. I'll play the first couple games of the season and then decide, I suppose, what I need to do. Anyway, the next time you'll see me will be the end of the season. You join me on the 30th of May 2020 for the Champions League final between West Ham United and Real Madrid. I'm not really sure how we managed this, but we somehow breezed through the Champions League into this final with ease. It was just so strange compared to our league campaign, which was a little bit more of a struggle. Domestic cups as well, a little bit tougher for us. But the Champions League was glorious. We scored 30 goals on our way to the final, which I think is a record. And now we have to take on one of the biggest teams in the world, if not the biggest team in the world, in Real Madrid. It's going to be incredibly tough. They've won it a record number of times, haven't they? And it will be a completely different opposition compared to what we have been playing. You can see we've only lost one game in the competition, and by that point we had already managed to get through in that leg. So it really was irrelevant, that result. But our group stage was fantastic. We started off with a 2-0 win against Bayer Leverkusen before drawing against Juventus. That was a pretty good draw. We managed to beat Victoria Plzen twice with ease. Then we drew against Leverkusen before thrashing Juventus 5-1. We really turned it on in that game. The first knockout round was good. Surprisingly closer than the quarter-final and semi-final. You can see we beat Olympiacos 5-2 on aggregate before thrashing Atletico Madrid at home 5-0. I have no idea where that came from. Similar to the Juventus game in a way, against a team that is very known for its defensive attributes. They still got Simeone in charge. Juventus had some of the, I think they still had Bonucci at the back. And we managed to get 5 goals past them. So to score 5 goals past Atletico Madrid as well was pretty phenomenal. We lost the away leg, but it really didn't matter. And then we went to Bayern Munich. They came to ours, they came to the London Stadium, and we destroyed them 4-0. I don't know how this happened, because in other games this season, we've drawn 0-0 against Wolves twice this season, and we've managed to beat Juventus 5-1, Atletico Madrid 5-0, and Bayern Munich 4-0. Bizarre. And then the away leg was a good 1-1 draw, and that's how we managed to get into this final. Real Madrid will be tougher again, I'm sure. I doubt we'll be able to just have the benefit of these crazy games once again and thrash Real Madrid. I very much doubt it. It's going to be a tough final. And it's actually our only way to qualify for the Champions League next season, because we unfortunately finished 5th in the Premier League. It was a very, very close campaign, as you can see, though we lost out on goal difference to Spurs. If we win the Champions League, though, we guarantee a place in next year's competition. Man United champions once again, only 1 point ahead of Liverpool though. Liverpool are very good this season, really tough team. Scored lots and lots of goals, as you can see. They're joint highest with Spurs. I suppose attacking wise we were a little bit weaker in the league this season, only 59 goals compared to the teams around us. That was not good enough. Conceded 40, decent defensive record I guess, but it was going forwards in the league that we did struggle. If we compare to last season where we scored 70 goals, conceded 30, so much better last year on both fronts, and we got 83 points, which would have been enough to win the league this year, ironically. We only lost 6 games, but yeah, just let down on the fact we weren't as clinical as last season. You can see we got off to a good start, beating Swansea 3-0. We then lost against Arsenal, but then unbeaten for quite a long period of time before an EFL Cup loss to Manchester United, one of our nemesis teams. They keep beating us, don't they? It's very frustrating. So we were knocked out of that competition relatively early. I was hoping to win a domestic cup this year, but it wasn't to be. The Champions League campaign, I guess, got a little bit in the way of the league. I always find it very difficult to perform really well in the league and perform really well in Europe. And I tend to find the Champions League easier than the Premier League. I've always found that on Football Manager over the years. I don't know why, but I suppose it's just a case of trying to be consistent across a lot of games in the Premier League is a little bit tougher. I'm better at the one-off games, I find. And we had a very good FA Cup run, actually. Talking about competitions where you've just got one-off games, you can see we got off to a good start against Wigan. We then managed to beat Chelsea in the fourth round 1-0, and then Liverpool. This was a really tough FA Cup run for us as well. Callum Wilson scored 2 goals to beat Liverpool, and then we managed to beat Arsenal 3-1 before coming up against Sunderland, a team I thought, well, we've had 3 really tough teams to get to this stage. Now it's nice to have a team that's struggling in the Premier League. Incidentally, they were relegated, but we lost on penalties. Really, really frustrating. We actually lost, I think it was like 8-7 on penalties. Quite a few penalties missed. It went all the way till like our 9th penalty taker, and they just managed to hold on and score more than us, and they went through to the final. They did lose against Leeds United in the final though, so good win for Leeds, winning their first competition for many, many years. But that was frustrating because I really thought we'd be playing an FA Cup final at the end of today's video, and I originally thought, oh, we're going to lose against Atletico Madrid, and then I thought, oh, we're definitely going to lose against Bayern Munich, but we found it strangely easy, and we're in a final. We should already have qualified for the Champions League, really. We did lose a couple games towards the end of this. Well, actually only one game at the end of the season. Liverpool, that was the game that killed us. They were second at the time. They finished second. They almost won the league. They beat us 3-1. They were just too powerful for us in this game, getting their revenge for the FA Cup game. And that enabled Spurs to overtake us with 2 games to go. It was very close, if you look here. We were up and down between 4th and 5th for the most of the season. We were 3rd briefly for a couple of games, but mainly 4th and 5th, up and down between us and Spurs and Arsenal as well at one point, but they fell away, and we finished comfortably above Arsenal, 9 points above them. Man City, I don't know what has happened to them. They actually offered me a job earlier in the season, by the way, but of course I rejected it, and we end up in 5th place. So we've got worse compared to last season, but we are into a final, and that's what we're going to do. First of all, before we look at all the statistics, end of season statistics, who was our player of the season, etc., we will play this game, our first ever encounter against Real Madrid on this save. We're playing at the Olímpico de Sevilla in Spain, and they're obviously heavy favourites. They're also playing in a stadium, I guess, familiar to them. Is it familiar? What is this stadium? Is this like a Spanish... there's no team that plays here. Spain play here. But do they play every game there? I don't think so. Anyway, it's a 72,000 seater capacity. I'm guessing Real Madrid players will be a bit more familiar, especially the Spanish internationals. You can see they've still got Cristiano Ronaldo, but look at this. Look at the team that they have. Oh, it's vanished now. Here we go. De Bruyne, Odegaard, who is phenomenal at the age of 21, and they've got Eden Hazard on the left, who they signed for £56 million, which is an absolute bargain. How much did they sign De Bruyne for? £99 million. How on earth are we going to beat them? Answers on a postcard. And unfortunately, we've had a massive blow, because Karius, who has been fantastic all season long, really, really good debut season for him. 7.19 average rating over the entire season, 7.39 in the Champions League, 6 clean sheets in the Champions League. You can see he had a good Premier League campaign as well. He has got injured this week for 7 to 8 weeks, so he misses the Champions League final. So at the end of the 4th season, we're still playing Darren Randolph in goal for a Champions League final. He's only played a few games this season, 1 Premier League game, 1 FA Cup and 1 EFL Cup game. He's played well in all of them, 7.1 in all 3 games, strangely enough. He also took part in the youth teams this year, but he's going to have to play against Real Madrid, his first Champions League game of the season. I still trust him, because he's not put a foot wrong for me for the entire series, really. Maybe the odd mistake, but generally has been very, very good. So I trust him to play well. And strangely, really annoyingly, in fact, Winston Reid is missing the final because he's on international duty with New Zealand. I mean, come on, in real life, surely they would let me play him in a Champions League final and then he could fly out there. He's currently taking part in the OFC Oceania, I guess, Nations Cup. They played yesterday against Tahiti and they won 3-0. But this is unfair. Oh, come on, seriously? Winston Reid is missing a Champions League final because he's just played Tahiti. No disrespect to Tahitians. I know your country's sinking. He should be taking part in this Champions League final. Instead, we're going to play Tuna, who we did manage to get a work permit for in the end in January. He's played 13 games for Turkey. We have had Brexit officially now, by the way. I don't know how harsh it is. I didn't quite understand what it all meant, but work permit rules have changed. But there was no problem getting a work permit for him in January, probably because he's played quite a few games for Turkey in the last few months. He had a decent time in the Bundesliga with Hertha Berlin, but he's done pretty well for us actually as well since coming back. 6.9 average rating in the league. He did score a goal, a couple man of the match performances as well. Played well in the FA Cup for us, but he's about to play his fifth Champions League game for us. He's done very well in the Champions League as well, as you can see there, and he is phenomenal. His attributes are going up. He's only just turned 19 a month ago, and he's been given a new contract, big money. 68 grand a week, I think. He deserves it though, because he is one for the future. He will be the main man in the middle. To be fair, Winston Reid is actually not as good as Tuna already, and Tuna is only 19. So Tuna will be playing in the middle. Going forwards, we'll have Burke, Tuna, Oxford. That's the plan. Oxford has dipped off a bit, I must say. His development's not quite as good as Reece Burke, who's won a couple more caps for England, but has been left out the Euro team, which is a bit of a shame because I think he deserves to be in it after a very good season with us. On the right-hand side, we're going to be playing Byram, who has put in another good shift on that side of the pitch this season. Possibly a position I need to improve upon. Brownhill is his understudy. He's only 18 years old. He's got real potential to be a star player in the future, so hopefully he will progress. But it might benefit us to upgrade on Byron. Masuaku's done alright this season. Once again, 7.03 average rating, that's good. Cresswell had a really good start to the season actually and was keeping Masuaku at the team, but he's been injured for quite a long time. He got injured for, let's just check actually, how many months was it? 3 months at the moment. There's another month and a bit to go. Austin picked up a horrible injury again. I think David Sullivan was right about his knees. He's torn his knee ligaments and he's damaged his cruciate ligaments since arriving at the club, and it was meant to be an 8 to 9 month injury. It does mean he will be leaving the club with an injury because his contract runs out soon. I can't give him a new contract, there's no point, he's just a crock. Injured every second. He did manage to get 3 goals in the league and 1 Champions League goal this season. Very good goals to game ratio. He's a quality striker, but he's just way too injury prone, and he's 30 years old, so we have to let him go. In the middle, we're playing Josh Cullen, who does play very well at times actually. I really like this guy. I'm surprised he's been left out of the Irish team for the Euros. I can't imagine they've got many better midfielders than him. He's 24 now, so he's getting on a bit. He's out of that youth period of his life now. He's into adulthood and should be playing well, and he is. He's done a good job for us when required. Obiang's going to play alongside him. Not quite as good a season for him, but he's just solid. He's in there splaying the passes around. Lanzini in front of them, Borja, and our main man Gabrielle Barbosa, who's got 21 goals this season. He's playing up front. Callum Wilson's got 17. He's also a great player to come off the bench. Borja has been injured a bit this season, which is why he's not scored as many goals. Now, Tielemans has just come back from injury, which is why I'm playing Cullen instead of him. Other players on the bench, we've got our young centre-back Alex Thompson, who's played a few games this season. Jacques Granit, a new signing in January from our new affiliate in France, Le Berruchon de Châteauroux. He signed for 500k. He's got a real future ahead of him, I think. Hasn't played well in the Premier League for us, but he did score a goal in the FA Cup. I think that was only his second appearance for the club and he managed to score, which is great news. So he's on the bench. Also, Marcus Brown, who has had a good season, 4 goals in not that many appearances in the first team. 1 Champions League game, 8 appearances in the league, 3 in the FA Cup and 1 in the EFL Cup, but he's managed to score 4 goals. and has a good average rating as a result. Fernandez, also on the bench, he's had a better season this year. 5 goals, 4 assists, mostly off the bench once again for him, but he has played well. He's now started playing for Cape Verde Islands. He's decided, well, Portugal, I guess, didn't call him up to the first team. He did manage to get about 20 caps for the under-21s, but he's decided to represent Cape Verde Islands. So he's ignored Switzerland, or he's been ignored by Switzerland and Portugal, the first national teams, and he's ended up playing for the Cape Verde Islands. And lastly, Callum Wilson is on the bench as well. So we're much weaker than Real Madrid on paper, but in the Champions League we have been phenomenal this season. So I do have some belief in this team that we can pull off a shock. Wish me luck. Can we do this then? You can see Barbosa, joint top goal scorer with Suarez in the Champions League this season. Our key man apparently is Reece Burke, and their key man is Eden Hazard, who, what a player. No words for this guy, he's just exceptional, isn't he? 112 caps for Belgium now at the age of 29. Superhero. They're missing Gareth Bale, I think, because he's injured. Yeah. So that's a bonus, definitely a bonus. But they do have the danger man, Cristiano Ronaldo, still, who's got 28 goals this season, 7 in the Champions League. At the age of 35, is still a phenomenal talent. This could be Randolph's last ever game for the club, by the way. In fact, it will be, because I think I'm going to be releasing him regardless. They're playing Mandzukic up front. Oh, where's Ronaldo? Mandzukic is up front. Where is he? Where's Cristiano Ronaldo? Is he injured? Did I miss that? He is injured. How did I not notice that? He's out for 3. This is huge. They're missing Ramos, who's 34 now, Rafael Varane, Ronaldo, Bale, James Rodriguez. They're missing some big players, but they've still got a very, very talented squad. De Bruyne, Willian on the right-hand side, Eden Hazard on the left. Mandzukic is a quality striker, even though he's 34 years old. Hopefully my 3 at the back can deal with him, though. Kovacic, who is a Football Manager legend and an exceptional player on this save as well. Toni Kroos is still playing for them at the age of 30. He's brilliant. Their defence, Rodriguez, a classic left-back that you tend to sign on Football Manager. He's going to be very good. Inigo Martinez at the back. Musacchio as well. I think their defence is penetrable. Penetrable. That's the word. That's what I meant. Semedo at right back. He looks good actually. And Keylor Navas still in goal at the age of 33. Ooh. I think we have a bit of a chance here. Simply because of that defence. I'm still using the same tactic, although I have alternated between what we have been using over the last 2 seasons and something slightly different, which I'll just show you now. So we have been using the standard instructions: retain possession, just hold on to the ball, work the ball up the pitch basically, but we've got a more attacking one as well. It's very, very similar, but it has worked against certain teams better than this one. Off we go then. Lots of West Ham fans in Spain, I'm sure, for this one. I'm nervous. First Champions League final of the series. We've not won a competition yet. This could be our first ever competition win of the series, and it could be the Champions League. Here come Real Madrid then. Will this be the first meaningful chance of the game? Willian into Toni Kroos, De Bruyne, Mandzukic. Oh, off the crossbar. He beat Randolph with power. We can't underestimate him. He's a quality striker even at this age. Here's Masuaku with the throw-in into Obiang. Through to Lanzini, who's just been sensational again at times this season. Had a slow start to the season, but he's certainly picked it up and been our most influential player. Here's Byram now. Into Borja. Lovely ball. Good ball to Masuaku. He's tackled, though. It was a good opportunity. Here's Reece Oxford into Obiang. Back to Reece Oxford. The ball playing centre-back. Plays it into Masuaku, who's tackled, and that's not great. Should have got rid of the ball sooner then. Mandzukic all by himself is trying to destroy us, but Byram does really well. And here's Barbosa, Gabrielle Barbosa through to Lanzini. Can he score? He can! Manuel Lanzini, I love this little Argentinian. 18th goal of the season for him. He's scored so many goals this year. I still don't know how he hasn't been capped by Argentina. Italy is his second nation, and he's not been capped by them either, which is a travesty, really, because he's been sensational this series. And we're 1-0 up against Real Madrid. Can we make it 2? That corner's headed away. Here's Lanzini into Masuaku. It's over to Tuna. Tuna tackle, that's poor from the Turkish guy, but Obiang does well there. Now Cullen comes in, it's into Lanzini, through to Borja. Barbosa makes it 2. We're 2-0 up. Inside 20 minutes against Real Madrid in the Champions League final. We're all over them. And the West Ham fans are going wild. Let's look at this. Lanzini, lovely ball in. The Colombian played it through to Barbosa. There was maybe questions of offside there, but I don't care. We're 2-0 up, and we deserve to be 2-0 up. We've been brilliant so far. We still have to watch out for the wrath that is Real Madrid. They can charge forwards and cause problems, especially Hazard, who's caused me numerous problems over the years on Football Manager. And here he goes. Randolph easily saves it, though. Can we do this? Can we win the Champions League? Can we win our first competition of the series, of this save? We deserve it. We've been so close so many times. And here's a free kick to Lanzini. Oh, what's it there? Oh, Masuaku! 3-0! This is unbelievable. How are we finding the Champions League so easy? I don't understand. We've struggled against teams like Wolves and Sunderland this season, but murdered Atletico Madrid, murdered Juventus, Bayern Munich, and now Real Madrid. Masuaku of all players with the 3rd goal. But Real Madrid coming forward straight away. Here's Mandzukic into Willian. There's loads of highlights in this game. Bayern, oh, he does well, but they've still got the ball. Oh no, Burke. Red card. That was a red card tackle. What are you doing, Reece Burke? Seriously? Why have you done that? There was no need. There was no need to do that. And we're going to have to bring on young Alex Thompson. Ridiculous tackle. I'm going to put Tuna on the left. What was the point? We're 3-0 up. If you have... Oh, Reece, but I love you because you've been sensational once again this season for us. Maybe I don't blame him. Maybe it's the game's fault. I mean, no one should be doing that tackle. Let's just time waste defence. We'll keep on the same instructions, but just have one up front now. And it's a free kick in a dangerous position. Willian is deadly as well, isn't he? But Randolph easily saves it. Can we hang on now? 3-0 up against Real Madrid with 10 men. We've still got a lot of time to go. But maybe we can just kill this game dead. Corner to Real Madrid. Will they get back into it? They do. It's De Bruyne that makes it 3-1, and we're really up against it now. Because of a stupid red card. There was no need for it as well from Reece Burke. And they're coming forwards looking for a second, and they get it. Kovacic. Oh, mate. Why? Why, Football Manager, do you hate me? Why can't I win finals? I don't understand. Randolph should have kept that out, really. If that had been Karius, would have been fine. That is really frustrating. I think we'll go on the counter and we'll hit them on the break. So we're just changing the instructions completely now. Realising they're going to push forwards for the equaliser. It's never easy, is it, this game? That just throws things at you. We were sailing along. And a needless tackle from Reece Burke gets a red card. You can tell when it's a red card tackle. Barbosa's now got injured. A stubbed finger. Here's Byram. If we can get a 4th. Nope, we can't. Rodriguez with the tackle. And Real Madrid coming forwards with Mandzukic. Come on, get into them. Win the ball. Masuaku. Nope. Here they come. Cruz with the shot. What a goal. 3-3. What on earth has happened here? Maybe I should have just kept on with my original instructions and not gone defensive. Because this has ruined us, hasn't it? We're going to go high tempo and try and hit them on the break, basically. Ah, this is frustrating. I'm going to have to bring Barbosa off as well. Callum Wilson's going to come on. And I'm going to bring Tielemans on for Josh Cullen. Okay, there's still an opportunity here, isn't there? We're up against it now. There's been no other highlights. Oh, Lanzini with a free kick. He scores! 4-3. Manuel Lanzini. You beautiful human being. Oh, wow. Can we hang on now? We're going to get Masuaku and Byram to defend. I'm going contain now. I don't even care. We have to. We just have to go contain. Can we hang on? This has been a ridiculous game. Absolutely ridiculous, because we were easily winning this final 3-0. There was no problems whatsoever. Real Madrid were not causing us any problems, and Burke gets sent off. They score 3 goals pretty quickly, and now Lanzini with a free kick. 30 seconds to go. Can we win our first ever competition in this series? Can we win our first ever Champions League for West Ham United? Here's Lanzini holding onto the ball. It's into Byram. 20 seconds to hang on. Lanzini into Tielemans. We're just holding onto the ball beautifully here. Reece Oxford. Come on. What's he going to do? It's into Byram. This is it. This is it. We've done it. We've won the Champions League against Real Madrid with 10 men. Oh, a 3-goal advantage did help. But we've hung on and we've somehow turned it around there at the end. And Lanzini wins the final for us with a fantastic free kick. He scored 2 goals today, 9.0 performance, man of the match. Ah, and Barbosa finishes as top goal scorer in the Champions League as well. I have to save the game. I have to save it before it crashes. Just imagine if that Champions League final happened in real life. The hype. It would be talked about every day for the rest of our lives. Oh, we've done it. We've finally won a competition. I'm not happy with Reece Burke because it was an awful tackle. And he's accepted his 2-week fine. That made it so difficult for ourselves. How many years do I have left on my contract, actually? They've just said perhaps I need to ask for a new contract. I've got 2 years, so it's probably worthwhile asking for a new one. And it does mean we qualify for the Champions League next season, of course. Which is great news. In fact, Spurs have been knocked out because... Oh, this is good for you Arsenal fans, I must say. Arsenal have won the Europa League, meaning they qualify for the Champions League instead of Spurs, who finished 4th. Because you may not understand why this has happened, because Spurs finished 4th. You think they should be guaranteed the Champions League place. But because we won the Champions League, that's fine. Spurs still qualify for the Champions League, even if we do win the Champions League. But because Arsenal also won the Europa League, you can only have a maximum of 5 teams from one country in the Champions League, and it's the 4th team, Spurs, that have to miss out. Wow. What a way. That is a big blow for them. They'd have preferred to finish 5th now, I think, and not have the embarrassment of that happening to them. So they're in the Europa League with Man City and Leeds United, who managed to win the FA Cup. Sunderland, Swansea and Brighton relegated. What a season! We finished 5th in the league, but we've won the Champions League. That is kind of like the ultimate goal of a series, of a save, isn't it? To try and win the Champions League. But now, I want to win the league. I want to continue to do well in the Champions League. And go from strength to strength, I suppose. You can see here then, Dybala, another magnificent season from him. 28 goals, top goal scorer by a long, long way. What a player he is. Players that featured on this list for us, in fact the only one is Obiang. 5th best pass completion record this season with 89%. Another good season for him in that regards. But looking at individual performances from our players, you can see Reece Burke actually made the most appearances for us this season, 56 appearances. Despite that mistake in the final, despite that red card, he is still an incredible centre-back. Please, don't be angry at him because he is sensational. I posted a screenshot of him on Twitter, actually, because I'm just so happy with how he has progressed, and he is an incredible player. The only problem is he does have a release clause of 26.5 million, because that's what he wanted to sign a new contract. I couldn't get rid of that. The agent refused to budge on that. The thing is, he's only actually worth 10.5 million, so I don't know. You can see Arsenal, Liverpool and Man City interested. Would they put in a £26.5 million bid? Probably, because they do have the money. So I think I need to offer him a new contract and try and get rid of that release clause, because I don't want to lose him. Even though he did make a mistake in this final, I really don't want to lose him. Goals-wise, Barbosa, 22 goals this season, top goal scorer for the club, but Lanzini not far behind, our attacking midfielder, our little maestro, who is sensational with 19 goals this season and 13 assists as well. He needs to be getting some international football, whether it be for Argentina or Italy. He deserves it. Callum Wilson, really good, 17 goals this season. He was coming off the bench quite a lot this year, but still managed to get a lot of goals and a lot of assists. Borja, 12 goals, 9 assists. Not quite so good this year because of injuries. Fernandes, Austin and Tielemans all managed to score 5 goals. Most of the team managed to get a goal this season, as you can see there. Assist-wise, Barbosa was top as well. A really good first year for him. He didn't actually score his first goal for the club until this game against Chelsea. Look at all those games he didn't manage to score in. Was getting a few assists, but not a very good start to English football for him. But since that point, he has scored plenty of goals for us. Lanzini, 13 assists, Wilson 10, but it's just those 4 players again at the top. That attacking quartet of those players, they're just brilliant. Lanzini did pick up the most man of the match awards, and highest average rating was Lanzini. Now, I also loaned out Mark Noble in January to Real Betis, bit of a random team to move to, but he had a really good time with them in Spain, where they managed to finish 9th in the league. Atletico Madrid won the league, incidentally, so we actually beat the Spanish champions as well this year on the way to our Champions League title. We deserved to win that after that incredible run, and it was only a red card that put it in doubt, I suppose, in that final. Karius was our second best player this year, average rating wise. It just shows how important and how good he is for this club. Barbosa up there. Winston Reid, once again, really, really good from him. Callum Wilson, Masuaku Burke, Tuna in his first half of English football had a good time. Value-wise, Lanzini is our most valuable player, £34 million. Barbosa up there as well. But where does this leave us, I suppose? What do we need to do next season to improve? I guess we need a more consistent performance in the league to really challenge for a league title. Perhaps we do need a bigger squad. This squad was good enough to compete at Champions League level because we've got some outstanding players. But when it comes to the league, there's just something about us where we do tend to struggle against these teams towards the bottom of the table who are trying to grind out draws against us. I think we need a killer edge, maybe another world-class striker. Barbosa's brilliant, but he's not quite top level. Same with Borja as well, I guess. He's a cracking target man, but maybe doesn't fit into our system. He didn't fit into our system as well this season compared to last year, and injuries were a problem for him. Lanzini is just brilliant. You know, there's no one I can think of to replace him, really. And the midfield's good as well. We've got good options, and I'm actually signing a world-class wonder kid very soon. Where am I? Here we go. Alexandre Cavazos, a Colombian who looks incredible. Look at that current ability. My scouts managed to find him, and we've signed him for only £13.5 million plus 20% of the profit from the next sale. To get him to sign, we had to give him a big contract. It's going to be 110 grand a week. It's not showing here. He's also going to have a release clause of 59 million, which is quite low for a player like this. Someone else could come in and easily buy him, but that was the only way to get him to sign for West Ham. I'm excited because he's going to be a star in the middle. Now, he does prefer to play defence midfielder, Roman playmaker, but I don't see any reason why we can't train him up to be a Roman playmaker in the middle there. So I kind of feel he's going to be the long-term option in this position. We've also got Tielemans and Cullen. Maybe Tielemans could move over to the deep line playmaker role, or Cullen could. Or perhaps we're going to have to maybe think about selling Yuri, who I love, and I've loved on Football Manager for a few years now, since he really came onto the scene. But if we sign someone that's slightly better than him, then maybe we could make a real killing on him by selling him for a lot of money. But I don't know, it's something to think about. The defence is great. I don't think I need to improve that because we're going to have Burke, Tuna in the middle. I mean, this is the front three of the back three of the future, I feel. I really hope Oxford can just push on slightly more to that next level and be on a par with Tuna and Burke. I think he can be. He's still only 21, I think. Yeah, he's going to be 22 at the end of the year. So there's still plenty of time for him to grow as a centre-back. Burke is now 23. He's going to be 24 in September. So he's kind of reached that top level now. Tuna, on the other hand, he's only 19. He's already a 4-star current ability player. He's improving every day. He could be one of the best defenders on the game. So we've got a real star on our hands there. And in goal, we've got Karius now. We might need to sign another backup goalkeeper. Was thinking of giving Rendolph another year, but it can't just keep going on. We need to find someone else, I think, to be back up. I'm not sure Sem Kustas will be one for the future. Batala, I'm going to let him go. His contract runs out in the summer, and I don't think he's ever going to be good enough. I can't get a work permit for him either, so we might as well just let him go and cross that off. You know, it's a loss that we just have to realise. But Sem Kustas, he could be back up, but he's not quite developing as much as I would hope. But he's still only 20 years old. He's been on loan at our affiliate in Holland, who didn't have the best of seasons. They finished towards the bottom of the table. Considering they got relegated last year, it wasn't a very good season for them. But top goal scorer was our Argentinian, Juan Cruz Gomez, who had a good season, 18 goals at that level. Not bad at all. And Sem Kustas had an okay second half of the season with them. And Fontana did reasonably well as well in defence for them. Quina did not have a good year in League One at all. I probably should have recalled him in January, but I kind of feel he might be a lost cause. He's 20 years old. He has developed over the last couple of years, but not to the standard we require. I have to make a call on him. I have to decide whether we'll just let his contract run out in 2 years and hope that he might improve in the next 2 years, or actually sell him on for a little bit of money. He's not worth very much, but we might get a couple million for him. I need to decide. It might be worth just keeping him and just hoping for the best. I kind of feel Joe Powell has just as much ability as him, although he's 21 now, so he's another player that probably won't be improving to the standard we need, unfortunately. But high hopes for Granit, our French striker, who's only 17. And in the under-18s, I've got some high hopes for certain players. This guy who came through the academy this year, Tsetsi, not sure how to pronounce it, he's got a South African origin. He looks like a decent player, as a shadow striker apparently. When he first came into the academy, my assistant said he could be one of the best players of his generation, so we'll just have to see on that one. Hopefully some of these players can push on and play well. Phil Woolley, I do like the look of. 16 finishing. I think we need to push him up to the under-23s soon. He has been playing in the under-23s, but sort of officially put him in the under-23s. Alright, still looks good seeing that. So good. Look at that. Lanzini. Passes completed 67. 9.0 rating. Sensational stuff from us. Barbosa wins Golden Boot Award in the Champions League. Well done to him. Dream team for the Champions League. Lots of players named. Barbosa, Lanzini, Tielemans, Reed and Karius in that list. And this is our best 11 now. So, Randolph's still in goal, but Reece Burke is in that back line alongside Ogbonna and Reed. I don't know where Ogbonna went. Let's have a look. Yeah, he went to Genoa. Byram and Masuaku are our two wing-backs. Tielemans and Obiang in the middle. Lanzini, Borja and Wilson. No real surprises there at this stage. I think Byram has made... yeah, he's made the most appearances in the series. Just one ahead of Lanzini. But I do need to think about whether Byram is worth... do I keep him as my main wing-back? Or do I try and upgrade him? I feel like I need to upgrade where possible. If I can find a better player in a certain position, then go for it. We should have plenty of money next season. Lanzini was named Fans Player of the Season. No surprises there. Wilson second and Karius third. Goal of the season, Lanzini once again. Player of the season, Oxford. Karius, signing of the season. This is the best 11 from this year. But let's have a look at Lanzini's goal. What the fans considered to be the best goal anyway. I think it's just a consolation goal against Liverpool. Good strike, but I've seen better goals from us this year. The game can't really... I suppose it's subjective, and the game must have some sort of algorithm in it that decides what's the best goal. Let's just have a look at some of the Premier League awards then. Courtois managed to win the Golden Glove Award. Footballer of the Year, Dybala for the third year running. Goal of the season won by Borja Baston from Swansea. Manager of the Year was Mourinho for the third year in a row. Players Player of the Year, Dybala for the third year in a row. There are really no surprises here. This was the Team of the Year. No West Ham players featured. Young Player of the Year was Kevin Yamga for Watford. And top goal scorer at Dybala, Mane and Origi were second and third. So I think that's it for today's episode. Thank you for watching episode 4 of Creating a Legacy. We're starting to create a legacy now. We've won the Champions League. We've had a couple of good years in the Premier League. Didn't manage to finish in the top 4 this year, but it doesn't matter because we're in the Champions League anyway next season. Do we automatically qualify for the group stage by winning the Champions League? Not 100% sure on that. We will find out. I really would love to win a domestic trophy though. FA Cup, EFL Cup, next season. I'm desperate to win one of them. I've said it every season now, and we've been so close on a few occasions. But next year I really want to win that. Although if I was to choose between the league and the cup, I would definitely choose the league. But Man United just seem unstoppable on this save. I don't know how we're going to defeat... We did manage to beat them actually in the league towards the end of the season, but overall they just are ridiculously good. Anyway, please hit that like button if you enjoyed today's video. I will see you in episode 5 of Creating a Legacy very soon.